What would happen if you were driving through a deserted forest at night, and suddenly injured animal changed your life completely? But what if that animal wasn't really animal at all? Today's story is about Doyoon and a mysterious white fox that, in the very next moment, turns into a child. So the story begins with a night scene. Doyoon is driving alone through a forest road. Now here is something important to notice. His GPS is already giving a warning that this area is accident prone. That clearly hints that something is about to go wrong. And honestly, in horror or mystery stories, when the GPS and radio start giving warnings, you just know the journey isn't going to stay simple. Just then, Doyoon gets a call from Park Woo-jin. From this conversation, we learn quite a bit about Doyoon's character. He is a veterinarian, and not just any vet, but one who specializes in rare animals. Woo-jin clearly shows that the hospital is struggling without him, yet Doyoon is leaving everything behind to go to a remote farmhouse. So the question is, why is he going there? Is there some past connection? Or something else entirely? Suddenly, it starts raining, and the call drops. A classic setup: isolation plus no signal plus dark forest is equal to trouble. And then, Doyoon's GPS fails. This is a very important moment, because when technology fails, it usually signals the entry of something supernatural. Right then, a small animal suddenly appears in front of his car. Doyoon thinks he might have hit something. At this point, even the audience is confused. Did accident really happen, or was it just an illusion? When he steps out to check, he finds a white fox. Now this is important. White foxes are uncommon. In folklore and mythology, they are often seen as supernatural creatures. Which means, the story is no longer going to stay normal. Doyoon brings it home and places it on the couch. He goes upstairs for a moment, but when he comes back, the fox is gone, and in its place is a small child. Buddy, this is the biggest twist of the story. Honestly, if I were in Doyoon's place, I would probably faint right there. Doyoon completely panics and said, "Is this a dream? Did some spirit cast a spell? Should I call the police?" And here, the story adds a bit of dark comedy, because he imagines that if he tells the police something like this, they will just think he is crazy. Now, the interesting part is that the child can't speak, but understands everything Doyoon says. From here, the tone slowly shifts, from mystery to emotional connection. Doyoon gradually starts taking care of him, feeding him, bathing him. Unknowingly, he is already getting attached. But Doyoon's biggest struggle is, how am I going to take care of this child? And that's a very realistic reaction. The situation is fantasy, but the emotions are completely real. At night, while Doyoon is asleep, he feels like someone is touching him, and he can't move. It's like a sleep paralysis moment, already creepy on its own. But here is the twist, it's actually Haru. And then we get a glimpse of the past, a young Doyoon, and a fox. Which makes one thing clear, this isn't a random encounter. They have been connected before. So now the biggest questions are, is Haru really that same fox? And if yes, why did he turn into a human? And what is Doyoon's connection to all of this? From here, the story is about to get even stranger, and more dangerous. Doyoon is feeding little Haru while holding him in his arms. He gently tells him, "You are eating well," but internally, he is thinking that this kid has already finished 2 full bowls of egg porridge. This gives us a light but interesting hint. Haru's appetite is a bit unusual. Doyoon decides that he needs to buy proper cutlery for the child, which shows that he is starting to feel a sense of responsibility. Just then, he gets a message from Park Woo-jin, asking if he arrived safely. Doyoon casually explains that the call got cut off because of the rain in the mountain roads. But honestly, there is a subtle sense of mystery here. Was it really just a network issue? Meanwhile, Haru starts crawling forward on his knees, and Doyoon immediately stops him. He is clearly protective, but also a little overwhelmed. When Doyoon tries to step outside, Haru clings to his leg. It's a very relatable moment, but it also shows that Doyoon is no longer completely alone. He thinks, taking him along is difficult, but leaving him alone isn't possible either. Which means the situation has already become complicated. The scene shifts to a mall. Doyoon quickly plans to buy clothes, socks, and shoes for the child. Suddenly, elderly woman approaches and calls him an irresponsible father. A classic public judgment moment. Do-yoon politely explains, and surprisingly, he even refers to himself as Haru's father. This raises an important question. Is he truly accepting it, or just managing the situation? Now Do-yoon heads to a stable for his veterinary job. He leaves Haru in the car, but somehow, the child gets out. And from here, things start getting weird. The cows suddenly become frightened, without any clear reason. The owner begins to suspect that there is something strange about the child. Honestly, the scene gives the first strong hint of something supernatural. Even Do-yoon becomes confused and he said, was this really because of Haru? At this point, the story fully enters a psychological and mystery zone. Back at home, Do-yoon is taking a shower, when he suddenly feels like someone is behind him. A classic horror setup, but the twist is still coming. A voice says, "Were you thinking about me?" Do-yoon turns around, and what he sees is shocking. Haru is now standing there in the form of a white-haired boy. Here, the story completely shifts genres, from childcare to a supernatural thriller. The boy suddenly comes closer, and kisses Do-yoon. Do-yoon is shocked, confused, and realizes that this is the same presence he had been feeling in his dreams. Important note, the scene is intense and may be symbolic, it's better understood within the narrative context rather than taken literally. And in the end, Do-yoon faints. Now the biggest question remains. What exactly is Haru, a child or something else? The story continues with Do-yoon and Haru sitting on the couch. Haru keeps rubbing his eyes over and over again. And honestly, this is where things start to feel a little suspicious. Do-yoon asks, "Are you okay? Are you sleepy? Are you hungry?" But internally, he is thinking, he has been crying since morning, and I don't understand a single thing he is trying to say. Now here is an interesting detail. Haru literally rests his head on Do-yoon's leg, like a pet, or something extremely dependent. And then, without saying anything, he falls asleep. At this point, even as an audience, you start to doubt, is he really human? Do-yoon himself thinks, he doesn't feel like the same person who was with me last night. And honestly, same. The audience is just as confused here. Then suddenly, there is a knock on the door. Do-yoon literally sighs in relief and says, "Good, he fell asleep." He goes to open the door, and finds an old man, the village chief. The man says he has known Do-yoon since childhood. This subtly builds the world, suggesting that Do-yoon has a past connection to this place. But then, from inside, the sound of a child crying is heard. And what does Do-yoon say to Chief? "I left the TV on." Honestly, that was the weakest excuse. When Do-yoon comes back inside, he sees that Haru has knocked over a flower pot and is crying. Now the tone softens a bit. Do-yoon picks him up, checks if he is hurt, and gently calms him down. This moment shows that despite his irritation, Do-yoon does care. Throughout the day, Haru literally follows Do-yoon everywhere. And Do-yoon's reaction, "He is always getting in my way." But the moment Haru falls asleep, Do-yoon says, when he is asleep, he looks like an angel. A classic trope. Now this is where the story gets really interesting. When Do-yoon starts cleaning the second floor, he finds an old photo album. Inside, there is a drawing he made as a child, of a white fox. And next to it, he had written, "I wish this could live in our house." Now comes the twist. Haru appears behind him and says, "We have met before." And from here, the entire story flips. Haru reveals that he has been waiting for Do-yoon for 20 years. Now honestly, this can feel romantic, but also a little creepy. Do-yoon asks, "Why?" And Haru answers, "Because you are my partner." In a flashback, we see young Do-yoon saying, "I wish we could stay together." And the fox replies, "Then we will have to get married." Back in the present, Do-yoon is clearly uncomfortable. He says, "I said that when I was a child." Now Haru explains that he is losing his powers. His tails have decreased. He is slowly becoming smaller, and might eventually disappear. At this point, the story suddenly turns emotional and dark. Do-yoon asks, "How can you regain your energy?" And Haru's answer, "I need life energy from a human." And suddenly, everything connects. Why he stays close to Do-yoon. Why he touches him. Why animals are afraid of him. And then, Haru says, let's do something together. Now clearly, the story moves into more mature territory here, where Haru shares intimate moments with Doyoon. And now the biggest question is, if Haru needs Doyoon's energy to survive, then is Doyoon really safe? And is this relationship love or something dangerous? Now the scene changes. Doyoon wakes up, and he sees Haru lying right next to him. His reaction, he is really hot. Then he pinches Haru's cheek, and says, his face looks like a satisfied cat. Honestly, that line is really funny. But here is the twist, Haru isn't actually asleep. He is just pretending, which means this character isn't as innocent as he looks. Haru says, you are tickling me. Now Doyoon suddenly remembers, last night, they were on the second floor, so how did they end up here? Haru casually says, the bed was messy, so I brought you here. Bro, that kind of strength, said in such a normal tone. Notice something important here. Haru looks like a child, but his abilities and awareness are on a completely different level. Just then, Doyoon's phone rings. It's Woojin. He says he is coming over. Now the problem starts. How do I hide Haru? Doyoon tells him, for today, turn into a little kid. But Haru refuses. And his reason, being small is annoying. It makes him sleepy. He has to move slowly. This detail is actually really interesting. It shows that his transformation isn't comfortable for him. After a while, Woojin arrives with gifts and a cake. He looks around the house, impressed. 2-story house, a garden, dream life. Then his eyes land on Haru. And he immediately asks, who is this kid? Doyoon quickly lies, he is my nephew. Woojin tries to talk to Haru. But what does Haru do? He clings to Doyoon. Doyoon says, he is very shy. Honestly, this moment is both funny and a bit awkward. Because the audience knows what Haru really is. The three of them sit together and eat the cake Woojin brought. Haru stays quiet. Here, two worlds exist side by side. A normal life, and a hidden supernatural secret. Now the story takes a slightly emotional turn. Woojin brings up Doyoon's grandmother. He says, when she passed away, I was worried about you. And what does Doyoon do? The same thing again, I'm fine. But Woojin calls him out, you never show your real feelings. This scene feels very real. There are many people like this, who hide their pain and keep saying, I'm fine. Doyoon says, I don't feel alone, because he is with me. Here, Haru is no longer just a supernatural entity, he has become emotional support. Now Woojin says it's getting dark, so he should leave. As he steps outside, it suddenly starts raining. And Woojin says, this might be fox rain. This is actually a very interesting concept. In Asian folklore, fox rain refers to rain happening alongside something mystical, often seen as a supernatural sign. So indirectly, we are getting a hint, Haru's presence is not normal. As soon as Woojin leaves, Haru immediately pulls Doyoon inside, and makes him sit on his lap. His behavior here feels a bit possessive. Haru asks, I behaved well, right? Doyoon praises him, you did really well. Their dynamic now almost feels like parent and child. But the story is clearly pushing it in a romantic direction, and that's what makes it a bit controversial. Haru reminds him, you made a promise to me. And then, they share an intimate moment. After a while, Doyoon finally brings up something practical. I have to go to work, I need to support you. Haru's reaction, can't we go together? This shows how completely dependent he is. Then Doyoon says, from the first moment I saw you, I wanted to take care of you, now we will live together. Haru asks, forever? And Doyoon replies, yes. Then Haru says, I like you, Doyoon. And that's where this part of the story ends. Now honestly, the story is very unique. It's a perfect mix of supernatural elements, childhood promises, and emotional bonding. But one thing is also clear, some moments feel a bit uncomfortable. Haru's childlike behavior, the sudden romantic shift, and his extreme dependency, all of this makes the relationship feel complicated and ambiguous. So the question is this pure love? Or is it a form of toxic dependency? In the end, it completely depends on the audience's interpretation.